The Bankai Show is back and everyone is happy with the Bankai Show being back. That is the only thing they are happy about, since the Bankai Show has nothing to offer besides that. Here is what you notice when you pay attention to something other than pretty colors. What a better way to care about the people in a city than having the city completely empty of people. Sending completely incompetent soul reapers to protect an area that is already guarded by the most hacks of people. Said incompetent soul reapers spend their whole introductory scene in bickering, since they have nothing else to show for themselves and become irrelevant before you even know it. One moment they walk on air, the next moment they run on the ground, because consistency. The Hollows are not eating their victim, although that is the only thing they care about. The Soul Reaper does not know or has seen a photo of Ichigo, the guy who has invaded his home and defeated Aizen. Everyone is okay with the guy who destroys the souls of the innocent when killing Hollows. Ichigo goes Bankai for beating simple Hollows, because being surrounded by people who can level buildings and reshape reality is not enough. Everyone causes massive destruction of property, probably kills dozens of civilians and renders homeless hundreds more, a thing which nobody will point out and the story will ignore forever after. Everyone is chilling at home after causing mass destruction and death, and don't give a shit when a super ghost invades their home. Bad guys infiltrate Soul Society just to make it harder for their faction to win by revealing their invasion plan without any strategic advantage. The same bad guys don't provoke the old dude for stealing his powers and winning the war right away. Bad guys can teleport away whenever the plot doesn't want them to die or get captured. Later on, this technique will be completely forgotten because the plot wants them to die or get captured. But yeah, the Bankai anime is back, so be hyped for more Bankais!
I'm so hyped though! Ah!
Hey, look, villains with a name. That means they are going to be important, right? Nah, they die a few seconds later like there is nothing to them, and you instantly forget about them. The same thing that happens to every other death in this dumb show. Also notice how they are not teleporting away as they did in the first episode, since the plot wants them dead. Teleportation works only when Kubo doesn't want to kill someone in one scene, but he's perfectly fine to kill him like he's nothing in the next scene. Hey, listen! An info dump that wastes several minutes in telling us what had happened in the previous episode. It's been a whole week, so I am sure this was needed for reminding us what had happened so long ago. Here is a very important thing that had to last a whole minute. Everyone standing still and nothing happening. Now that's what I call good use of your runtime. Did you like the previous info dump? Here is another one about what is going on in Hueco Mundo. Because why would we see Hallibell becoming the ruler when we can simply be told that she became the ruler? Also, don't wonder why the Soul Reapers didn't finish off the rest of the Arrancar now that the strongest of them were destroyed. Kubo was too busy thinking of what names to give to characters he planned to kill a few seconds later. So they go to Hueco Mundo and find a lot of Arrancar to be dead, because Kubo forgot they are ghosts and therefore already dead. All of a sudden, these super evil ghosts that have killed thousands of people each are treated as victimized innocents, and Ichigo, who was destroying them without a second thought before, is now willing to save them, which is the only thing that defines him as a character, someone who just wants to save people, even when they are not people but evil ghosts that killed countless people. But then again, he's killing countless people himself every time he releases his Bankai for defeating a few Hollows, so at least that is consistently inconsistent. Then a third of the episode is wasted on nobody characters doing nothing of importance, since the only ones who matter are the captains and Ichigo when they go Bankai. Did you like the previous two info dumps? Here is a third one, where Nell explains who the nobodies were fighting are. It's useless because you either already know, or it doesn't matter because they are nobodies. In case these info dumps weren't enough to satisfy you, here is a fourth one about the captains regurgitating what is going on. So yes, we got 4 useless info dumps in a single episode that could have been easily changed to the additional material Kubo promised to add in the anime. But that is not going to happen since he doesn't give a shit about improving the plot. He's just going to add more Bankai and call it a day. And now I will spend the rest of the video in correcting myself for the mistakes I made in my previous episodic impression. Someone gave me valid criticism about everything I said, and now I see why Kubo is such a genius. For example, I had said the city is empty as if there is nobody in it, but it turns out everyone is inside their homes. Nobody goes out at night, so obviously the city appears to be empty. It remains empty even when Ichigo goes Bankai and destroys a whole city block because everyone in it is now dead. What did you expect, people running in the streets? They died in the explosion and thus you don't see anyone. It also makes sense why they are fine with Ishida killing innocent souls. If they are fine with murdering innocent civilians by releasing a Bankai against typical hollows, and if killing thousands of innocent people in Soul Society is fine just for balancing the damage caused by the death of hollows, then why would they care about some guy killing souls? In this setting, nobody cares about death. It's a consistent trait of every character. That's why they are chilling at home after murdering thousands of people for no reason. Including Ichigo, who was making such a huge fuss about being afraid of death in the early episodes. It's not bad writing when the main character, who had an existential crisis about death in the first episodes, is now murdering innocent civilians by the thousands by releasing his Bankai against typical hollows. And it's not a problem to send incompetent Soul Reapers in the city, since they know Ichigo is protecting it and therefore there is no reason to send more capable people. The reason they waste all their screen time in bickering and being obnoxious is for pointing out how useless they are. If they weren't doing that, we wouldn't know their personality, much less how useless they really are. Therefore it is masterful writing by Kubo-sensei. That is also why everyone in Bleach is constantly yelling and bickering. We wouldn't know their personality and how deep their characterization really is if they weren't obnoxious jackasses all the time. The reason there is no consistency when it comes to whether they can walk on air or having to run on the ground is they are afraid and can't concentrate on floating on the air. Only fearless captains can do that, and only when they feel like it, which is why nobody was flying during the Soul Society arc. The reason the hollows are not eating their victim is because they were discussing how to split her evenly among them, because they are reasonable monsters, created with love and care about what the other mindless creatures around them think and care about. The reason the Soul Reapers don't know of Ichigo is because the world is a big place, and thus not everyone knows everyone else. You can't expect every single Soul Reaper to have seen Ichigo, or seen Ichigo's picture, or heard of Ichigo, or know who this Ichigo guy is, despite being sent to the city he is in. Why do you expect Soul Reapers to be given a proper briefing over the area they are protecting? All they have to do is swing a sword and kill monsters. Why would they care if they are in the same city as the guy who is more powerful than Aizen? Why would anyone tell them? There is no point. The reason the bad guys reveal their invasion plans is plain megalomania. They are sure they will win, thus they have nothing to be afraid of, including the revelation of their plan, so that they won't be sure they will win. It makes sense. The reason the bad guys don't try to steal Yamamoto's Bankai is because they are weak. Although they are using a device to steal the Bankai and not their power, so it doesn't matter how strong they are. Another explanation is because his lieutenant warned him about a machine that steals Bankais, therefore Yamamoto would not fall for it. Although he revealed that after the bad guys left, so it wouldn't be a helpful revelation. A third explanation is Yamamoto wouldn't release his Bankai for defeating the bad guys. A simple attack would be enough. It's a show where people use Bankai against simple hollows, but they don't use Bankai against bad guys who are so powerful they can easily go into their headquarters. Why would Yamamoto use Bankai against such super powerful enemies when Ichigo has to use Bankai against weak hollows? It's not like there is a cost for using powers that kill thousands of people for no reason. It has been established that nobody cares about how many people he kills, therefore he would use it as often as he can, and that's why Yamamoto didn't use his Bankai. It makes sense.
Bleach sucks. Bleach falls off after Soul Society. Bleach has bad writing. Kubo can only make good character designs and create hype fights. If you have ever heard these takes or takes like this, you were lied to about Bleach.
Oh man, baby.
Here's more of those useless Soul Reapers continuing to be useless since they need someone to explain every little thing to them. They are clearly written to be incompetent as an excuse for info dumps. It would make sense if they were typical mortals who got isekai'd to Soul Society and needed someone to explain everything, but that is not what is happening. They are full-fledged Soul Reapers who have been trained and deemed capable to protect the whole city. They are not supposed to be rookies and should at least know the basics. Yet they know absolutely nothing, because Kubo doesn't even bother to give us proper fish out of water characters. He just thought, well, I need more excuses for info dumps instead of showing what is going on, and I won't bother to add more scenes in this part because it doesn't have to do with more bankais. I also can't have citizens of Karakura doing the asking, because who gives a shit about average people? I just had the very protagonist murdering hundreds of them, and I didn't even bother to show a single one of them, because it was nighttime and they were all inside their houses, not because I was bored to draw a few people. So yeah, I'll just create 2 more Soul Reapers, the thing that sells in my crappy manga, and I'm going to make them stupid and incompetent so they will be constantly asking for explanations. Although they shouldn't, because they should already know about all that stuff. I'm such a genius!
Bleach is so nuanced and complex in its writing that it often goes over the heads of people who would claim this.
Then it is revealed the captains are murdering tens of thousands of innocent people just for balancing the damage caused by the destruction of the hollows. Just like it happened with the city, we don't see a single civilian. I guess it was nighttime when they all got killed. They were inside their homes, so why would we see anyone, right? It's all info dumped on us and it's supposed to be enough. I mean, why would you show it when you can have someone flapping his mouth? It's easier that way, and it's not like it's something important worth showing. They only killed tens of thousands of people for preventing the destruction of the world. Nothing big worth showing. Now let's forget this event and move to the next scene without adding new content. You know, stuff like the screams of the innocents as they are killed for the greater good, or Yamamoto feeling awful for what is happening. We don't need that. What we need is more bankais. Let's add hours worth of bankai transformations.
They lack the ability or desire to understand the symbolism and prevalent themes within this manga.
Oh hey, named characters. That can only mean they are important. If they aren't, why would Kubo give them a name, right? They are clearly going to be vital in whatever happens next. Which is why Kubo kills them 5 seconds after he names them, and we forget about them immediately, since we don't get any extra content regarding their contribution to the show, and thus we're given no reason to feel sorry for them. Let's keep the extra material for more bankais. That's where we should focus on.
You personally lack the desire or ability to detect that said substance.
Then the invasion of the Quincy begins. You know, the one they announce to their enemies for no strategic advantage. Obviously there are going to be lots of Arrancar among the Quincy, since they bothered to capture them. If they didn't plan to bring them along, they wouldn't have bothered to capture them. Any moment now, Halibel and dozens of Arrancar are going to appear. Because if we don't see them, we can only assume Kubo forgot all about them. Just like he forgot to show how Halibel survived the fake Karakura battle, why the captains didn't kill her when it's their job, and how she became the new ruler. No need to include extra content with what she and the other Arrancar are doing. I guess it's nighttime where they are, so we don't see them, since they are inside their homes. It's not a plot hole. Oh, and make sure to add more bankais.
Many people simply ignore everything that the series and characters have to offer.
And finally, what we all want to see. Ichigo using his bankai. Let's hope Kubo is going to add more scenes with him causing nuclear explosions that kill hundreds of the innocent Arrancar he came to save. Oh, and no need to show them getting killed. They can be inside their houses.
What is not fine is to completely ignore the depth that Kubo does present to you in the series of your own volition and simply slander the series because of your own ignorance on that depth.
I finally have enough to say now that the 6th episode is out and everyone is happy for getting the only thing they care about. Bankais? No kidding, it's a repeat of the 19th episode of Demon Slayer, when everyone is acting like this is the best show ever made, when it's just pretty animation with a really stupid plot. And don't kid yourselves, the plot is stupid, no matter how much the fanboys want you to think it has a lot of deep and thought-provoking themes. And that is why the only thing everybody talks about is Yamamoto's Bankai. Nobody's talking about how the Quincy claimed to have come prepared with a guide of everyone's Bankais so they will know what to steal and what to avoid. Despite that, they suffer a dozen insta-kills by going up against Zaraki and Yamamoto, who are obviously way beyond what they can handle. One of them even kicks away a Soul Reaper instead of stealing his Bankai, because he didn't know he had one. Brilliant people, very smart and strategic. Imagine what would have happened if they didn't come prepared by knowing everyone's Bankai. They would be all dead in seconds. Also imagine if they hadn't revealed their invasion plan for no strategic advantage. They wouldn't have suffered any casualties. Oh, and needless to say, the tradition of Kubo killing characters as soon as he gives them a name continues. Now by going a step further, first he kills them 1 second after he introduces them, and then he gives them a name. Amazing! Incredible! Only a master writer would create dozens of new characters just for killing them 1 second after he introduces them, and then he gives them a name. It's almost as if Kubo only cares about drawing cool characters and then he doesn't know what to do with them, doesn't it? But why would we give a damn about any of that? Look at all the pretty lights of Yamamoto's Bankai. That's what Bleach is all about. It's not about 100 pages of flower symbolism for every nobody character who has an average screen time of 5 seconds. It's about the badassery of someone shit-talking his opponent, releasing his transforming sword, and filling the screen with pretty lights. Some of which are awful CGI skeletons, but let's ignore that as well. The same way we have to ignore the fake Quincy leader having no build-up regarding his ability. The whole thing was explained to us after he was defeated and he had the exact same power as his brother, despite having a different letter. Amazing writing! Oh, and if there are any fucking morons among you who think Bleach battles are meaningful and tactical, I have news for you. The villains are so dumb they don't kill Zaraki when they defeat him, despite him killing 3 of their people in a few seconds. And before you say they were about to, but Yamamoto appeared and stopped them, I need to remind you the real evil boss had the time to leave behind an imposter and to walk away. It wouldn't take more than a couple of seconds to kill Zaraki, but nope, we can't have that smart thing going on in our story. Also, the imposter didn't trick Yamamoto into revealing his Bankai so the real bad guy can steal it. He just wasted your time because the real villain explained anyone could have stolen the Bankai from the very beginning. They didn't have to be as strong as Yamamoto in order to steal it, they just wouldn't be able to use it. So much for the lies you were saying about not being able to steal it when they idiotically revealed their invasion plan back in the first episode. And so much for calling this battle meaningful and very important when they could have stolen the Bankai as soon as Yamamoto was about to use it. This entire battle that you are so hyped about didn't have to happen. It was just fan service. All you care about is wanting to see some damn Bankais, goddammit. Even when they don't have to happen. But I am sure some of you will say nobody calls the battles tacticals and all Bleach fans know that the battles are mindless action. You are lying, snob. There is no way there are people who are that retarded to claim such a stupid thing. There is absolutely no way an adult person who ever implied the fights are tactical. You are lying, snob, for such a retarded person cannot possibly exist.
He wanted Yamamoto to tire himself out before basically he could come in and attack him from behind and get rid of him. Kind of saying he's doing this clever, shady tactics to be able to get rid of Yamamoto's abilities. They always have to do these really shady tactics to get rid of Yamamoto.
The height.
The episode begins with the new material that Kubo had promised, and that material is more nameless captains with more Bankais for the fanboys to cream their pants. I mean, what did you expect Kubo would add? More plot? Deeper characters? Better explanations to fill the plot holes? The odds of that happening were
100% a possibility.
Then Ichigo escapes the otherwise inescapable prison because he's half Quincy. Actually, he's half of everything at this point. Kubo just repeats the same excuse in every previous arc. And the odds of doing the same here were
100% a possibility.
Also, isn't it convenient that we are told the Quincy powers don't work on other Quincy after Ichigo is revealed to be a half whatever? If that is not an asshole, I don't know what it is. Anyways, Ichigo rushes to Soul Society and he doesn't take the rest of his team with him because they don't matter anymore. Forget about the humans and the Arrancar. Kubo forgot about them and the odds of remembering them are
100% a possibility.
So Ichigo wants to save people, which is the only thing he does in the whole show. This is the only defining feature he has. No urgency to achieve something on his own. If he has nobody to protect, he would be at home sleeping all day. The odds of doing something other than that would be
100% a possibility.
And then we get another one-shot defeat of yet another bad guy who had a total screen time of 2 seconds. Did you really expect Kubo's new material to be the fleshing out of guys like him? The odds of that happening were
100% a possibility.
Anyways, we should be glad he died after he mentioned his name. That's the extent of characterization you can expect from Kubo. Then the big boss, who has the ridiculous name of Yuha Baha, said it was a mistake to send a Quincy to stop Ichigo. He should have instead used the Narrankar. That would surely work, like the one he used in the first episode to steal his Bankai and it didn't work. See how Kubo is insulting your intelligence all the time? The odds of expecting him to make sense are
100% a possibility.
Then more bullshit happens, such as Aizen hypnotizing Yuha Baha, something we weren't told until it was relevant. The Quincy losing their power if they stay outside their base for too long, something we also weren't told until it was relevant. And Yuha Baha not using Yamamoto's Bankai right away to destroy Soul Society, because we wouldn't have a plot if he did that. The odds of expecting this show to make sense are
100% a possibility.
Let's go!
The Bankai show is back with the worst possible episode since it has no Bankais. How do you expect people to like it when it doesn't have the only thing they're watching it for? Oh snap, you're being a hater. People are also watching it for the plot. What are you talking about? What plot? Kubo doesn't know anything about the plot, and the studio didn't bother to fix his bullshit. Here we are with someone becoming the successor to the main villain without any build-up, without any explanation, and without mattering in the long run. Why should anyone be watching it for the plot when the plot is complete trash? Well, maybe they will explain it in the next arc. There is no next arc, this is the final one. And it's filled with bullshit like some slut seducing and then killing her own allies because she got frustrated. This was the extent of her personality. She doesn't matter in the plot. This gimmick of her doesn't matter in the plot. And Kubo continues to kill his characters a second after he introduces them. Did you catch the name of that guy who died? Did you get what his powers were? Of course not! He didn't matter! None of this matters! Why should anyone be watching it for the plot? Half of the episode is wasted on people bickering at each other, and that's supposed to be giving them personality. But it doesn't! Everybody's yelling and screaming and yelling because the only thing Kubo did was to draw a uniform. He has no idea who these people are. He doesn't know what to do with them. They don't matter in the plot, so he just makes them yell and scream all the time and expects his fanboys to be pleased with his bullshit. And it works because this plot and this characterization were enough to make the Bankai show one of the highest rated anime of all times. The brilliant writing that made the Bankai show one of the highest rated anime of all times continues by showing a captain inviting Ichigo's friends in Soul Society so they can say hi. Remember when nobody was allowed in Soul Society in the first episodes? Remember when everybody was attacking anyone who wanted to sneak inside? Kubo doesn't remember. He just invites nobodies who won't even matter in anything that happens later on to casually go to the afterlife so they can say hi to a friend. And what a great time to invite nobodies who can't even defend themselves in the middle of a genocide! One of the highest rated anime of all times. Oh look, it's that guy who should be dead, but Kubo changed his mind because he was a popular character and made him survive with a power-up. Glad to see the animation studio fixing his bullshit. One of the highest rated anime of all times. The brilliant writing continues with Kubo showing how much respect he has for the Kurosaki-kun chick. That is not her name, but since that is 90% of everything she says, she deserves to be the Kurosaki-kun chick. So this genius wishes her current life to last as much as possible. She literally wants the massacre to go on indefinitely while being in Hueco Mundo, the place that she was taken by force and tormented horribly for months. She wants that shit to go on forever! One of the highest rated anime of all times. And then the episode ends with the Quincy attacking again, and the whole thing is just a rehash of stuff we already got in the first season, which had to be conveniently cut short because the bad guys ran out of energy or some bullshit. Something that was never established and was only used as an excuse for the good guys to get a power-up. One of the highest rated anime of all times.
So that's already hype.
The latest Bleach episode was at the top of major streaming services. Was it because of the elaborate plot, the deep characters, or the amazing themes? No, it was because of a dumb bankai, goddammit! No matter what the fanboys try to tell you about why this anime is a masterpiece, at the end of the day they just watch it for the transforming swords. If you don't believe me, let's check the consensus in the reviews. Normally I would show you 5 negatives and 5 positives, but as you can see this is impossible since there are exactly 10 reviews, and most of the reviewers don't like Bleach. They just watch it because it has pretty colors and not because it's a good show. They know it's slop, yet they consume it because it tastes nicely. First review. No explanation or justification about what is going on. Rushed new content, badly scripted, nobody dies despite facing a godlike villain, obvious inconsistencies. Second review. He can't wait to see more damn bankais and more fights, goddammit. Third review. Underwhelming fights, unexplained abilities, lack of the feeling of desperation since nobody ever dies, badly written dialogue. Fourth review. Undeserving glazing, god-awful character and plot writing, lack of realistic responses, characters standing around doing nothing, villains monologuing their powers, convenient power-ups, stupid character motivations, non-stop asshole bullshit, nobody dies despite facing ultra powerhouses, huge amount of plot holes. Fifth review. He gave the entire series a 10 out of 10 because he liked one episode. You should really trust someone who judges a show based on a tiny portion of it. Sixth review. Incredibly disappointing. Story and character development fall off the rails. Entire episodes are about monologuing while standing still. The power scaling is bullshit. The cool moments are non-existent. Seventh review. It has an average score of over a 9 only because of nostalgia. It's otherwise terrible. Lazy writing, plot armor, bullshit power-ups, numerous plot holes. Eighth review. It's generic. The villains have no depth. The philosophical conflict is all gone. The main bad guy is a god yet does absolutely nothing. Orihime's boobs get bigger and bigger and she does nothing. Chad has been sidelined. Ninth review. It was always mediocre. Lots of filler, incoherent story. Uryu doesn't explain his plan even though the queens are not around. The character development is a letdown. The villains are more interesting than the heroes. And 10th review. Laughable script, non-existent plot, anticlimactic fights, stupid villains, no tension or drama because nobody dies or gets resurrected. Orihime is just a pair of boobs. Ishida and Ichigo just shout each other's names. So no, I don't recommend it. It's pretty bad, and it's ridiculous how people are saying it's the best anime ever. Even if you love it, you have to be objective and see that it's not good. I would have loved it to be a masterpiece or something I could really enjoy, but it simply isn't. And not for reasons of nostalgia, expectations, hype or anything like that. It's simply a bad product, quite poor in fact. And there you have it. This is what people actually think about Bleach. Even after the anime fixed a lot of issues that the manga had, it's still slap that people only like it for nostalgia, and that is the only reason they watch it and give it an average of over 9.
It really shakes things up.